Nice right hand by Waters. Oh! Namajunas with a huge head kick!
I have a really powerful right kick, and I just haven't had the chance to show it yet. She was right, that weight cut kind of did mess her up the first time, but I'm just better, man.
Rose Namajunas, ladies and gentlemen!
Welcome to UFC Unfiltered. Please tell me that's on video. I've never been happier.
I'm made for a fucking podcast. That's dangerous. Listen to me, we're at it.
Welcome to UFC Unfiltered. Now, this is a good problem to have. Our guest is right on time. Very rarely do we have a guest be as on time as this. And it's one of our favorites, Rose Namajunas. They're telling us is in the waiting room already.
There she is.
Hey, Rose.
Hello.
What's up,
How you
Rose?
doing?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Happy belated birthday. I just read that it was your birthday.
Thank you.
Oh,
Now, is that a good time for you, birthdays? I tend to ignore mine. The older you get, the more you ignore it. Or do you celebrate them and love them?
I think I'm starting to enjoy them more now as I get older, I think. I used to I remember my 13th birthday was not like a fun day for me because we ended up getting into a car accident on the way home, and it was just super I hate birthdays ever since then, and this is stupid. But now I'm actually this year was actually a pretty good birthday. My 26th birthday was kind of overwhelming and weird, but 27 was pretty cool too. So I think it's on and up from here.
Why was 26 overwhelming and weird? Was it because now you're over 25? Was it the hump of 25, or what was it?
I think I just made it out to be more than what it was, because okay, so I guess so everybody that I that's close to me has always been oh man, 26, man. That's a crazy one. Everybody, so I just made it into this big thing, and then I thought I was gonna lose my mind at 26, which I guess in a way I kind of made myself a little crazy. But just the history of schizophrenia, usually in your mid 20s is when it can trigger or something like that. So I made it into this big thing, oh, what if, and then nothing happened. So
is that in your family, the schizophrenia?
Well, yeah, so from what I know of, but I mean yeah, it's kind of my family history is kind of confusing, so I don't know what's real and what's not real sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I got some mental illness in my family, and I'm at 46, I'm did I make it? Am I gonna lose it in 47, 48, or am I in the clear? I think I'm in the clear.
I think I think, and this is the thing, I think the more that I get older, yes, there is such a thing as mental illness, but I think it's so there's such a wide range of it that I don't think, and things can mix, and things can depending on what you're doing and what's happening in your life, man, there's so many complications that can make mental illness. I think scientists and doctors think they know what it is, and they don't, and so I think it's something that is really interesting, and definitely could use some more answers about it. But yeah,
I never know either. I just know that there's something not normal when I'm in the mirror and I'm screaming, "You suck." I know that that's not a healthy attitude.
Oh, it's definitely not.
That's not good. That's not
definitely
good
not. Yeah. Oh, and you know what else is not healthy? Well, or not healthy, but definitely not normal is wait, hold on. Let me see. Can I switch the camera? Let's see. Oh,
Sure.
Yeah. I'm one of these assholes that walks their cats.
Oh,
You
So,
walk
yeah,
your
apologize for
cat?
being all over
that's
the
great.
place, but yeah, he's we have a neighborhood right now, and so I can't let him out by himself. So
You see kids on a leash more than you see cats on a leash.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah, for sure.
It's not a perfect science. Internet connection is just not a thing that we have perfectly yet. We will, but not yet.
Not yet. How's this?
That's cool. That's good. Holy shit, it was good. Oh my goodness, Pat Barry, you gotta warn us before you put that noggin in here. You know, we're looking at a nice rose, and also we see a head the size of mine come in the picture.
Now, does Pat also walk the cats? Pat, do you walk the cats as well, or is that only Rose walks the cat?
Man, check it out. Check it out. Look at this.
Hold on.
He'll walk the cat.
Hey.
Look at that. That's awesome.
And the cat is pretty comfortable with it, which that's the most surprising part, is that the cat seems okay with it.
Well,
Reggie owns his neighborhood.
Yeah, he owns. Well, okay. So what's happening is he's been inside for the past, like he's a savage outdoors. Like I normally just let him run around the neighborhood and do whatever. I'm not one of those people that's like, because a lot of people are like offended by people letting their cats outside. To me, that's like what I grew up with, and that's normal. But but we have these like savage foxes lately that have been just like, man, we've been going to war with these foxes. Like they'll like walk up to my dog, like they don't even care. So we've been like fighting them off, and we've been doing target practice in the backyard and shit. So so yeah,
how big is a fox? Rose, how big is it the size of a small dog?
It's a little, like, it's about the size of my dog, about like maybe 25 pounds. Yeah, I'm actually pretty confident my cat could defend himself against this one, and that's why I don't like worry too much when I let him outside. But lately there's been just like the whole family of them, and they're like really bold right now, so I'm just like, everything's on high alert. Right. we're locking it down. So I have my cat down to a science, and he really trusts me. So yeah, he deals with it. He just doesn't like using the bathroom inside. He likes to use it outside, so that's why I think he deals with the leash.
Oh yeah, he doesn't like the litter under his feet, the cat litter.
Yeah, I think that's just gross. I mean, one day if I could live on a farm, you know, that would be ideal, just to have them outside, and you know, then they could just be wild.
Is that your dream, to live on a farm?
Oh yeah, ever since I was a little girl, that's all I've ever wanted.
Oh, I can.
Well, you guys could achieve that. I mean, you did that outdoor stuff when
I got my overalls on right now.
Yeah, you have the outfit. You're farm ready, and you're comfortable outside. You're comfortable sitting in a tub in freezing. You're not going to complain about conditions. You'll probably handle the farm well.
I think so. It kind of sort of runs in the family. I have my grandmother. She has her own cottage, and she basically just if it's not winter, the rest of the year she just lives there. So, and right now with the whole Corona thing, like she's just been pretty much self-quarantining out there in the farmland. So it's kind of nice.
How are you guys handling the quarantine? You seem like you're pretty outdoorsy and whatnot. Is it bothering you, or are you guys just hanging around the house?
I mean, other than like the only thing that's really changed for me is like that's significant was like going to our favorite restaurants, and like now it's like they're opening back up, but you got some place you gotta wear a mask or something, you know. It's just like, this is annoying. But so annoying. Like, but yeah, but other than that, I have the gym at home, and I've been using that a lot more, and then I've started to actually really appreciate just being able to like work out at home, jump in the shower, jump in the ice bath right here, not having to like sit in the car, even if it's like 5-10 minutes.
Right.
Like it's just been really nice. And like I said, not much has changed for me because I normally socially distance anyways. So yeah.
How do you feel going into this fight? Because it's been a little over a year since the last matchup with Andrade. I think May of 19. So how are you feeling now? I mean, mentally, you seem like you're in good spirits, in a good place.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready to go. You know, this has been a long training camp, longer than expected, obviously, because everything going on. But this has been, I'm fully ready, like, for anything, and more ready now. I think that whole, you know, everything getting shut down was like kind of the best thing that ever happened, even though it was the worst thing. Obviously, I mean, we had some, you know, it hit home for us and our family, but I think overall, it was definitely a huge, like, it just put things into perspective, and it kind of like reminded me that like I just need to keep in control of myself instead of trying to like control everybody else, or trying to control everything else around me, I should say.
Yeah, I guess you know, when with personal stuff happens, it's kind of hard, I'm sure, to stay in Are you like a type of person, like, are you easily distracted, or are you good? I'm very bad at focusing. Like, I can focus, but as soon as something comes, I just lose the momentum mentally that I've built up. Do you get like that? Is it harder for you to kind of get back, or are you okay getting back?
I can adapt to changes very well. I've always been able to like just in the family, so like if we had to move or something changed or whatever, I was always just naturally gifted with the ability to adapt to change. However, I think once the changes pile on and pile on and pile on, I think every once in a while, it's hard to deal with. But yeah, I definitely have a unique ability to deal with that. And so, yeah, I think definitely, like, dealing with death, like everybody deals with it differently. And I think in different times in your life, you have different feelings about it. And so, yeah, so there's no, I guess, one answer for that.
Yeah, I'm really, it's funny. I'm better with death than I am with small things. Like, it's because death sucks so much. It's like so completely shit that I can kind of handle it. But it's the little tiny things that just ruin. What I can't handle the small things. That's what kills me.
That makes sense. Yeah. Like sometimes it's easy to like get like kind of ungrateful or bitter when it's just a bunch of things that seem to like annoying. Like it's almost like if I would compare to the ice bath, it's like sometimes like a cold shower is worse than just like immersing yourself all the way into just like this horrible cold. You know what I mean? Like if it's a little bit cold, sometimes that's just annoying versus just being totally in it.
Rose.
Yeah.
Now with this rematch with Jessica Andrade, when you fight, you don't show any emotion. You're very focused, and that's a good thing. You don't fight emotional. Is there anything, or even in training, like extra motivating or makes you a little emotional, being like, all right, this girl beat me, I want to get this back? Like, is there something like, I can't see you getting angry like that, but
yeah,
being the fact that this is a rematch, she beat you the first time in a fight you were doing very well in.
Yeah.
Is it hard not to get emotional in the rematch, or are you just looking at it like you never fought before? Or you?
Well, yeah, I definitely can't. I'm definitely not looking at it like anything that's not true. I know what happened. I know the situation, and I think there's gonna be like being a fighter. There's no you kind of have to have that ego. You have to have that thing that fuels you or whatever, and like but at the same time, like for me and my style of fighting, and just I think as an efficient fighter in general, you don't let that ego drive you. That's how you make mistakes. So you use that when you need it. And for me, it's gonna be a healthy balance of controlling my emotions and not being for the longest time I went through all of those emotions, and I think that's this loss was definitely one of the harder ones to overcome. But I think having all this time off definitely let me go through all those different emotions and stuff. And there's still gonna be a little chip on my shoulder, but not to the point where I'm making terrible decisions or I'm like, like angry at her. No, if anything, I look at her with gratitude because she made me better, and she's had I won that fight, I probably would not be the person that I am today, and I wouldn't be as good as I am. And I feel like I'm really hitting my skills and abilities are better than ever, and they're starting to really like I'm really mastering myself right now. So yeah, like obviously I'm always gonna be pissed about that. Even after I win this fight, I'm still gonna be like, man, fuck that. But but at the same time, only like that chip is only gonna be there when I need it. It's not gonna just, I'm not just gonna let my ego off the leash. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to keep that under control.
It's not gonna be debilitating.
No, yeah, you gotta go in there with it's just another fight, and she's just another girl just like me, and we're just gonna throw down and yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you too. And you kind of answered my question saying this was a hard one because the way you lost, like, you were definitely winning the fight. And I was going to ask you, is it one of those things you look at like, it's just one of those things that happens. Like, you weren't getting beaten at all. Like, you know, Joanna can't look at her fight, no matter what she said with you, and convince herself, you know, I was dehydrated or whatever. But I mean, you won both of those fights differently and very decisively. It wasn't like one little turn left and turn right. I mean, anybody can drop on their head.
Better, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, I mean, and that's what the realization is that, you know, it's a fight, you know, but at the same time, like, technically, from the outside, I was winning, and there was definitely that's definitely what was happening. Like, just, you know, if you were looking at what was happening, but inside my mind, that was not, to me, I did not do everything that I've done now in order to win the fight. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have that feeling of complete confidence. And right now, like, there was a confidence there because I had the belt, but I didn't really feel like a champion like the way that I do now. And so, yeah, it's just the confidence thing. And then also, just like, my preparation wasn't it was good, but it could have been, there was so many things I could have did better. And there was certain confusions going into the game plan. So for me being on the inside, like, yeah, I could say, oh man, I was winning and stuff, and everybody says that, but like, to me, that was not something, that was a performance. And that's one of the main reasons I wanted to have this rematch, is because, like, you know, I want to put on a good performance, and I know, like, as everybody sees what it was, and it was a good performance as far as the striking was concerned, but even with the striking, I felt like that wasn't me, because, like, I don't know. And I guess you'll just have to see in the fight, because we just changed up some shit based on her, and it's not about her, you know, like we're like, oh, she's this, you know, big fucking, you know, bull that's coming forward, and she always, like, pushes everybody back and all this stuff. But to me, it's like, I push everybody back. You know what I mean? If you look at all my fights, I'm standing my ground. If anything, I push people back. So yeah, I have a lot of footwork and I have head movement, but I'm staying right in the pocket, right in your face. And so that wasn't me in that fight. I felt like I was doing two different things at once, and it was definitely confusing for me.
And what about the prep? Because I didn't. When you say your preparation, was it a different mentality for you being champion, or did something happen in that camp, or what was it that you said your preparation wasn't what it should have been? Was it just mentally?
I think it's because Jessica is a true grappler. And yeah, she, like, on the outside, she kind of looks like a brawler and stuff like that, but she is a true martial artist in her own way. And I think I just didn't really understand her as a fighter as much as, like, you know, like, she was just a harder puzzle to figure out for me personally. And then as far as, like, you know, yeah, I think I kind of, like, subtly overlooked her a little bit in some ways. And then also just being the champion, there was just a lot of conflicting, you know, mental blocks, like, and then especially dealing with, like, my perspective on grappling. One of the big things for me was also reconnecting with my old coach from, like, my amateur days, where, you know, I'm sure y'all know Greg Nelson. And I, you know, leading up to that fight, I wanted to go back and visit him, and because that's where my Kimura came from. But I didn't brush up on the techniques. It was just kind of like, that was like, my Kimura has not evolved since I left there, which was, gosh, I want to say 2013. And there's so many elements to it that, and there's, and you, and so I had not evolved, like, that was my, you know, early 20s self learning that move. And so now, you know, years later, I was finally able to go back and just, like, revisit some details, and then also not even just that, but elevate my grappling game, like, to a whole nother level, with just, like, my clinch and everything. So it was just cool to revisit, reconnect, and then come back here and then do what we do here and kind of blend it all together.
So 26 was weird for you. Now you're 28. You're in a good state of mind. When's the next freak out? When you're 30? Is that the one that's going to be like, 3-0? You're so young.
Man, it might be tomorrow. I don't know.
No. I think you're in a...
No.
30 was weird. That was a weird one for me, 30.
Yeah, I feel like 30 won't be so bad. Maybe 31 might be weird because it's like, okay, you're in your 30s.
Yeah.
Like 30's like, oh, okay, 33 decades. I don't know.
I'll tell you what's weird, Rose, 46, because then you got to start rounding up. So I'm like, shit, man, I'm not even close to 4. I'm closer to 50. But
yeah.
Let's change the subject because somebody else is 50.
I'll be 52 this month. And no, I know.
You look great, Jimmy.
I feel 70. I feel 70.
Oh, Jimmy.
Oh, it's the worst. Most of life is finished. But you know what? When you see people like who are younger dropping dead, that's how bad it gets when you're in your 50s. When you see someone younger dying, you're like, well, at least, hey, it could be worse.
You feel good
about worse. I could have died at 15 or 30 or whatever, So you start holding on to
crazy,
those.
Though, what made me feel really like not old, but like kind of put things into perspective a little bit was, so when I went back to Minnesota to like, work on my grappling and stuff, so I got invited to go to this all girls wrestling practice where there's like college girls, but then there's like all the way from like little 5-year-olds to all the way to like 20s or whatever. And I by far was like the oldest one in the room, and I felt so like I'm usually the one that's I've been used to my whole career as being the youngest person in the room, and tables have turned.
Yeah, when you're no longer the youngest one, or it happens slowly. But then the worst is like when I would say like, I'm 45, and people like, okay, cool. Like nobody went really, and I'm like, oh fuck, I really am. Nobody is surprised when you're a certain age.
Yeah.
That's when you're finished. But it's okay. Hey, look, again, there's worse options. There's worse options.
Well,
I
believe there's definitely something better on the other side. So I think it's all good, especially in 2020. I mean, who's afraid of dying right now, anyways?
Yeah, it's such a mess. And you know what? When life gets better, as you get older, that's better. People who peaked in high school, like when you see guys who are 30 still wearing their high school, you're like, that guy, it sucks. It's all downhill,
That sucks.
But the people who had disaster, like my high school life was not particularly great. I imagine yours wasn't amazing. And it's getting better as you become an adult and get older. Then it's like, things are better. Like on the
I had a good time in high school, but
you
not the same way that everybody else did. I mean, that was probably some of the hardest working time, like moments in my life. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely like, my life is way better now than it was in high school for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're fighting, you're doing what you want to do.
Too, yeah.
There were, right?
Yeah. But my life is pretty awesome right now. So,
that's so great.
That's another thing. I think being on the other side of this whole champion thing, it's like obviously I'm always a champion, always gonna be, but it's like having that perspective change is like, oh yeah, like not just knowing that you're blessed, but like and grateful, but like feeling grateful, like just knowing that you got it good, but then also feeling that you have it good is two different things.
Yeah. Writing it down on paper just because it's there, but actually feeling it is different. It's kind of hard sometimes to take what I know and make myself feel it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm so happy you're back fighting, Rose. We enjoy watching you so much.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. I'm really excited. I feel like I feel like I really know myself more and believe in myself. Like that's a huge thing. I'm not kicking my own ass more than the people that I'm fighting against. So it's really a refreshing feeling, and who knows what the hell lies ahead as far as like, I ain't never been to Abu Dhabi. I don't know.
Oh, you've never been there? Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited.
When do you guys go? When are you and Pat flying?
I think we fly to Vegas tomorrow, and then from there we fly to Abu Dhabi.
Oh, that's right. It's a whole chartered flight with a bunch of the personnel, right?
Yep.
Well, listen, have a safe trip, and we can't wait to watch you. We love you, and we're happy you're fighting again.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I'll be there. I'll see you guys there in Abu Dhabi.
Awesome. Oh, you're coming? Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Tell Pat we said goodbye, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye, Rose. Yeah, she's great. I'm so happy she's fighting again. She seems like she's in a good place and ready to go.
She's a delight.
Yeah, she's great.
She's 28 years old. You know, I was fighting BJ Penn at 28.
Yeah.
You understand? You know, Jimmy, I've been around. I don't know if you know this, but I've been around the world. I just want to let you know that I've been around.
Yes, you have. And you're here now. And that's what's
all right. Jimmy, I am very frustrated.
Why?
It's not with my sex life. I attacked my wife last night and I had a
good.
It's not with that. Damn, did I have fun. But the thing is this. I want to open my effing school, Jimmy. Wow. I closed one school down, like we know.
Yeah.
Because I had to, you know, I explained
the rent. Yeah.
I'm getting every month. I'm getting charged and getting put in a hole when I'm not able to bring in any revenue. You know, I'm not allowed to have my business open. So now I was planning to open up my schools July 8th. And then all of a sudden we heard here from the governor and whatnot that gyms, and even though I don't consider my school a gym, but workout facilities and whatnot, it's not even in phase 4 or whatever. So I mean, we don't even know, we don't have a light at the end of the tunnel, Jimmy. I'm gonna get through this.
Of course.
I don't want you to worry about me, my little Jimmy. I don't want you to worry. But this is some fucking bullshit, man. I gotta be able to. I mean, listen, I'm paying taxes. I'm abiding by the law here, but I gotta.
Sure.
I have to be able to make an income. I have to be able to bring some money in, man.
Yeah.
You know, I might hang out with Dana. I'm not Dana. I don't got Dana money. People think I hang out with Dana. Think I got Dana money. I don't got Dana money. I gotta make a fucking living, man. I don't want no handouts. All I want to do is keep my jiu-jitsu school open and spread some jiu-jitsu love, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Sorry, rant over.
No, hey, it's okay. I totally I understand. It's very, very frustrating, and it's not and you can't control it. And that's the worst part is, and no one can give the answer. Like, okay, it'll be done this.
I don't trust these politicians, Jimmy.
It's very, very frustrating. Obviously, very, very frustrating. For everybody, I don't know when the comedy clubs will be open either. You know, like when my gig is going to be, and for you, it's harder, I think, a gym because the clubs will be open before, I think, gyms, but the uncertainty is what's killing everybody. I think it's just not knowing. And the fact that people are being so ridiculously careless now. Like it shouldn't be worse now than it was before. It's embarrassing. What the fuck are we doing?
Well, I mean, listen. I mean, obviously they're saying, the protests, and they have meaning and everything.
Sure.
But if it's about people's safety, why is everybody, if that's the spike in things, I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, yes, I push you guys, everybody to do this because it's the right thing to do, which I'm sure it is for people's rights and whatnot. But, there's also people that are kept away when they can't go in there so their loved ones were dying and they can't bury their loved ones. They can't go to you know what I mean? They can't be in a hospital when they're sick. So like you make rules for certain people, and certain people it's okay. It makes me sick, Jimmy. You just don't know what to think after a while.
You don't know what to think, yeah.
You're like, is this for our benefit or is there a bigger thing going on where it's a political thing? And it just bothers the shit out of me, Jimmy.
I know.
All I want to do is, make my living,
Well, that's the reason it's so frustrating too, is because it's affecting every aspect of your life. Like there's just no and there's no way to look at it and go, okay, it will end now. It will end then. We just don't know.
It's indefinite. But we want to keep it positive, And another thing, like I told you, man, I'm going to Abu Dhabi. I'm going to be doing looking for a fight over there and everything. And, I was going to open up my school anyway and just say, fuck it, because I'm sick of it.
Sure.
But hey, man, it's going to get the word out that we'd be open. And next thing you know, I'm not going all the way across the fucking world to make some cash just to put that towards a fine. 100%. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, Jimmy, I'm not using this to rant.
No, it's okay, Matt. But you don't want to open it. Here's why you don't want to do that. Because God forbid you open it too soon and somebody, you know how people are, dude. Somebody decides to blame you because they caught it. Yeah, but you were open. You don't need the headache you just don't need the headache. It's a headache.
Yeah, I don't need the headache, but I do need the Benjamins, Jimmy.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? But it'll work out. We'll get through.
Will. It may wind up costing you more if you open up when you should.
Hey, before we got on our podcast today, I got off the phone with my lawyer. So that's why I'm a little like revved up. Man, I had 4 shots of espresso.
Dude, no one ever says, hey, why are you in such a great mood? I just talked to my lawyer.
Yeah.
No one ever said those things.
You know what the best thing about my lawyer, though? My lawyer, Bill, we call him Wild Bill, is he's a brown belt under me. So
okay.
I get to strangle my lawyer when I pay him. That's how I pay him. I go, all right, time to get paid. I'm going to Kimura the shit out of you. So, no, he's a good guy.
Yeah, dude, I got lawyers I talk to for different stuff in business and it's never fun because every time you talk to these motherfuckers, it costs money. Every time you talk to them, like I hate when they send me a couple of emails. It's like, could you sum it up because you're billing by the quarter hour? I don't need 3 emails from you. A quick one, minimal economy of words. Believe my lawyer likes to chat. And when the clock is ticking, I don't like to chat.
Hey, people been hitting me up. They like my movie, like what I recommended, Equilibrium.
Okay, good.
Christian Bale. People like, yo, that was a sleeper, man. People slept on that. Not during it though, because it's very entertaining. I think you should watch it, Jimmy. And you guess what? I got my wife watching because we done with Ozark.
I think I know.
First of all, I hate saying guess because you're gonna say something. What?
No, Tournament of Laughs on TBS.
What the fuck is that?
Oh, I thought you were watching. It's a comedy.
Are you on it?
I'm not. No.
Why are you saying it like that?
A dear friend of mine is on Tournament of Laughs.
Who's on it?
He got votes.
Oh no, not Chip. Is Chip on it?
Chip's on it.
Oh my God, what is it? What is Tournament of Laughs?
It's a comedy competition on TBS, and Chip has entered.
Oh my God.
People make comedy videos. I don't know how he's going to do.
I want to watch it. When is it?
Round 1 has already passed.
Did Chip get past round 1?
We don't know yet. The voting is still being tallied. They haven't told us. So I don't know.
You should have let the Unfiltered Army know about this.
I get shot.
You know?
I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a sweet boy. I don't
You are a sweet boy. You know? But let's talk. You know what we got coming on?
Marty Ray, yes.
Marty Ray is a country singer.
Yep.
And he hit me up. I talked to him through Instagram a couple of times, and then I met him at one of the fights.
Okay.
And he's a big fan. And I'm like, oh, who is this guy? He's got a blue check next to his name. So he ends up being, I don't really follow the country music, but he follows all the fights, and he's the lead singer of the Marty Ray Project. Let's talk to him. Marty, what's up, man? When did we first start talking? We talked through Instagram, right?
That's right.
First, I don't know what happened, whether you were given a good job for one of my fighters or whatever it was. And then I noticed the little blue check next to your name, and I go, who is this guy? And then I heard you singing, and I'm like, that guy might look like listen, I'm not saying Tank Abbott because of the beard and you're a husky guy, but I'm like, this guy's got the voice of an angel. Tell us about yourself, Marty.
I get Tank Abbott a lot, actually.
Dude, okay, good.
So that's not uncommon. I've always wanted people to say Matt Serra, but they never do. They always
no. For me, they say Matt Serra if he didn't train or care about himself.
That's not true.
Well, Corona, I hadn't been training in a while, so I'm out there with you, Jim.
How long have you been training? Now, I just started like probably 2 or 3 months before the whole shutdown. How long have you been doing it?
Well, I've been boxing. I've never done MMA training, so to speak, but I've been boxing my whole life, not professional, but we would box like in the neighborhood and stuff. My dad, when we were growing up, my brother and I would fist fight, and my dad, instead of saying don't do that, he gave us boxing gloves.
Yeah.
We started going, okay, well, this is what we need to do. This is how we take care of problems, and that's good and bad sometimes, because you don't want to train your children to think that that's the best way, but that's where MMA comes in, and it's like shows you how to be disciplined. Like Matt, I remember seeing you in one of the videos that this is a while ago, went super viral. The one where you was in the restaurant with the guy and you,
the drunk,
yeah. I was like, man, I want to be like that, because that's the difference in boxing and MMA is you can just subdue somebody and you don't have to hurt them or anything.
Yeah, the guy just asked Matt for a picture. Matt threw him down. It was
that's not true, Jimmy. It's funny, Marty. Like in that situation, a right hand and elbow could have ended that just as easily. But then you got to deal with everything that happens after that, as far as the lawsuits, scarring my poor children and my wife that were there and everybody else. And so, I mean, I basically just gave it jiu-jitsu. I'm in hindsight, I'm so happy that happened, because it really did open the eyes to a lot of people with the power of jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? And I'm like, people are like, oh, wow, look at that. It's like he's playing with him, you know? But anybody that's ever done jiu-jitsu realized that it was just me taking care of a drunk white belt, which is really not, it's very easy for anybody that's been on the mats. But
I didn't know he was even a white belt.
No. I meant like he doesn't know anything. You know, he doesn't have any belt.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's funny. And as far as training, you know, Tiger Schulman's, maybe they lost Uriah Hall, but they gained Jimmy Norton.
That's right.
He's over there.
That's right.
I've been pointing that out loudly whenever I walk in. You may have lost him, but look what you got. Now, how long did it take you, Marty? You're a young guy, you're boxing, I guess you're a teenager or whatever. How long do you take to learn discipline where you're like, oh, I shouldn't use this to kick somebody's ass. I can use this to kind of stay out of a fight. I'm sure at first you use it to, you know, I would have used it to tune people up if I was a teenager.
It took me growing up and having children before I learned that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When I had my first girl, I started saying, well, you know, I'm too old to be taking care of problems in that manner. And you know, I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and grew up in Arkansas, but it seemed like everybody in that area, like if you look at somebody or they look at you, or that everybody's like, okay, I guess you want to fight me, you know. Yeah. Kind of raised that way to think, well, I guess that's just how you have to do it. And then when UFC 1 started coming out, it was before that, it was just WWF. That's what we all got into. But then UFC 1 came out, and we were all just like, well, this is next level. This is the real deal here. And we all wanted to be a part of that. So we all tried to figure out how to do it. Then it went away. I don't even remember how long that went. Maybe Matt, maybe y'all know. But it went how many, like 15, and then it was done or something?
It went dark it was on pay-per-view, and it was like, I mean, I started at UFC 31, and Zuffa took over at UFC 30. And so that's when they took over, and they changed everything as far as they were running towards to get regulated, not getting away from regulation. And, you know, I mean, when it first came out, the UFC, it was kind of a freaking like freak show. Like it was a sideshow. They were like, no holds barred and yada, yada. And you were able to pull hair, and there was very few rules, you know?
Street fighting.
Yeah. I mean, I think
you couldn't gouge the eyes, right?
You couldn't gouge the eyes.
Kicking the balls you couldn't do, right?
Yes, you can. You could have done that.
Oh, wow.
You could. I mean, you had one for Keith Hackney. Keith Hackney fought Joe San, and he was punching him in his balls, in his cup. It was fucking crazy. Royce Gracie was pulling Chemo's top knot, which Wonder Boy's father, Mr. T, likes to say that he got it ripped out, which he did not.
He did not.
Sorry, Mr. T. Didn't happen. But, you know, it was very, you know, you could say barbaric, you know, which is, you know, you look at it now, there's still people getting elbowed in the face and stuff, but it came a long way, you know.
Didn't you start with Wing Chun, Matt?
I sure did, man. I did. Wing Chun, trapping.
Do you still use it?
I play around with it with my daughter, my oldest. We do some trapping. You feel for your shoulders. But what happened was with Wing Chun, by itself, if you see, this is what I tell people. They say, oh, does it work? You can add it in if you have grappling to back it up or something. But Western boxing, the straight punches, is way better than the Wing Chun little 1-inch punch. That's not the best, okay? And trapping is so close to grappling where even as a kid, I start off with some Wing Chun, and next thing you know, I'm doing a double leg or something from my season, a couple of seasons of wrestling. So it's so close to trapping is so close to, it's beyond, there's punching range and then there's trapping range, but it's so close to just grab somebody. You see two Wing Chun experts, if you ever put that in YouTube and you see them fighting, they'll start off like it's looking like something out of Yip Man, and all of a sudden they're fucking on the floor doing the worst jiu-jitsu you ever seen. So, you know, it's fun. You could mess around with a wooden dummy if you like, but you know, if you want to learn how to fight, I recommend jiu-jitsu, and if you want to do striking, I recommend some Muay Thai or some boxing.
What do you do? What do you think about Bruce Lee? You think that he would do well in MMA today?
Well, he would. This is what happened. If he was alive, I'm sure he would have got challenged and probably strangled by the Gracies. And then,
Yeah.
and then he would have been like, okay, I gotta add this in. He had a very good mind for fighting, and I think he was a freak athlete. And he was so open-minded because he was almost like a hippie in that sense that I think he would have found the Gracies and probably would have became a black belt.
Embraced it, yeah.
Much like Chuck Norris did. Like he would have been, they would have like wanted him to be involved and because he was putting with Jeet Kune Do, he was putting together he was always like, listen, not one style is the best, the blend of each style and each range. So he was doing mixed martial arts before it was termed like mixed martial arts, you know, he was putting it all together. So he was definitely before his time in a sense, because then you go before him back to the Gladiators, they were putting shit together. But, you know, in recent history, he was, you know, one of the first martial artists to really put it together. So
I've always been a fan of Bruce Lee. I always thought that, just like you said, that no matter what, that he would have adapted to whatever the fighting style was, because his way was no way, is what he said.
Yeah.
Way that is no way. So I always
no way as the way in Jeet Kune Do.
I would have loved to have seen him. I would have loved to have seen, or somebody like him. That there was that one guy that came out. I think his name was like
Bruce Leroy. Oh no, it's the different. Sorry,
that's
Alex. Who was it?
Yeah.
I forgot the guy's name, but there was a guy they were saying was the Bruce Lee of MMA, and I don't think he was in it. UFC. He was in another fight, maybe Strike Force or something. But maybe I shouldn't say that on this podcast. But
no, fuck that. You might be thinking of Kung Lee.
Yes, that's him.
Kung Lee was very good.
He was good. You know, he
and Michael Bisping gave him a beating from hell. So, listen, he was a little guy, but I'll tell you, Kung Lee fucked up Frank Shamrock, and he put on a nice clinic. You know, because again, he was good with the side kicks, and he had a nice, unique style.
Yeah.
But boy, did Bisping put it on him. Woo!
Yes, sir.
Man, but so I mean, so you were watching from the beginning, Marty?
I've been watching from the beginning. Yeah, I won't say that I'm an expert or anywhere close to what y'all are. That I see every single fight and the prelims and all that. But the fights that I want to see, I watch, and I tend to keep up with the people especially the people that support me. There's a lot of fighters that support me now, and it's pretty honorable. Man, I'm honored by it and blessed by it in the same sense.
Are you a Bryce Mitchell fan, being from Arkansas?
I am a Bryce Mitchell fan. Yeah, I love that guy. He's one of the few guys that today they get me excited about watching a submission. Yeah.
They're talking about, I don't know if it's signed, but they were talking about him fighting Andre Feely. I don't know if it's signed, but if that's going on, woo, sign me up. I'm watching that motherfucker.
That's a great fight.
I don't like how when people talk about the greatest fights of all time, like they're doing with the Poirier and Hooker fight that just happened. It's a great fight, but they never give credit to any of the fights that were like battles on the ground where they were going, passing guard, changing guard, getting it, attempt after submission attempt. Yeah. I think that's kind of, because that's what MMA really is, because if you take that out of it, it's just boxing. So if you stand up fight and you call that the greatest MMA fight, well, you're really just into boxing at that point. You see what I'm saying?
Listen, Ben Askren versus Damian Maya. Oh my God, do I love that fight. How about Damian Maya versus Jake Shields? I mean, these are fights that are battles on the floor. Why I like the Damian Maya versus Ben Askren is because you've seen two guys that are elite grapplers, and they both got to show what they were famous for. So you've seen some big takedowns to side control by Ben Askren. You've seen some beautiful guard work to reversals to getting on top that ultimately led to the submission by Damian
What round was
Maya.
that, Matt? Was that the third round he submitted or the second?
Either the first or second, to be honest. I think we can look it up. Our producers looked it up right now.
Yeah, I want to say second.
But let me tell you, I love that fight so much. And nowadays, I could think in the last couple of years, and I can't name all the fights, but people are saying that this fight was the best fight I ever seen. About whatever fight. I mean, they just talked about it with Dan Hooker and Dustin Poirier. But, I mean, listen, that was a fantastic fight.
Sure.
But no, it's just the last great fight that you've seen. Because how about this? They named that. I must have heard that how many times over the last couple of years? I don't remember any of the fights they're fucking talking about. How come I'm not? Because there's so many goddamn fights.
How about Bigfoot Silva against Mark Hunt is one of the best fights ever.
Yeah, that one will stay.
The first one. There was a second fight, but I think the first one was a draw, if I remember correctly. And that, to me, that's what you want to see in a fight like that. But everyone says the last great fight is the best of all time. And it's hard to judge that.
It's good to have a bunch of nice fights, but I'm just saying it's a common theme lately. This is the best fight ever.
I'm surprised y'all mentioned Mark Hunt on the show, because he was that man had the what was he called, the walk-off king or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He would knock you out and just walk off. He just hit you, knew you was done.
I love Mark Hunt. I was always a big Mark Hunt fan, and I would ask Dana, when is he getting a title shot? I love Mark Hunt. I'm just, watching those fucking tree trunk legs kick somebody. He's a very, very entertaining fighter.
I always love the big guys that would get in there and do work, and Mark Hunt was actually on my podcast. I have a podcast, and he was and he was very gracious and talked about some things that he probably couldn't talk about with other places, but I pulled it out of him. So it was fun. I like Mark Hunt, and I'm a heavyweight guy mainly. I love heavyweights more than anything else. And Lewis, that's where I first met you. Not talk to you, but that's where I first met you, Matt, was at Madison Square Garden. You remember that?
I thought we did talk over there.
Well,
didn't I run into you?
I'm saying that's not the first time we talked. I'm saying we talked on Instagram.
In person, though. I saw the first time I see. Yeah.
Derek Lewis came out to one of my songs.
Oh, shoot.
My song playing when he came out to fight DC.
What song is that?
Haunted.
Haunted?
Walked out to my song Haunted, and I was like, I didn't even know he was going to do that. And he comes up and gives me a hug, and I was like, man, I love you, dude. I really hope you win. I'm still sad that he didn't win.
So Derek Lewis is a big fan.
Yeah.
Of the Marty Ray project.
Yeah, me and Derek he's my favorite. People talk about the greatest fights, and what's funny is they only mention the fights that are slugfest, back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. But another thing that they don't think about, like I'm a fan, so my opinion is my opinion. My list, one of the greatest fights in my opinion, is where Derek Lewis knocked out Volkov, I think was his name.
Volkov?
In the last 20 seconds.
Yes.
The poster boy for Never Give Up, Never Say Never. I got chills watching that fight. I was like, this is everybody should watch this and say it's never too late to win.
Yeah. How much did you love the crazy end of Rosenstrike Overeem, where Overeem had dominated the entire fight, and then with 12 seconds left, he catches that lip split, and they walks away, and the fight is stopped.
Off that lip, all right. Golly, I think that those are the most special moments in MMA to me. If you make a list of the most special moments, it's the ones where everybody says, okay, they're done. Another special moment was when Matt beat George St. Pierre, right?
Wow, don't bring that up, Marty. Come on.
100%. Like, I was a fan of yours when you was on Tough, and you were one of the ones in the house that was the voice of reason. Like, you always seemed to have a calm head, and you were always like, hey guys, like, I don't know if you should do that. And then you went on and you won, and you never had a big head. And I was like, I like this guy so much. And then you seemed like a monk in the octagon, right? He was like, you could not get, and when you fought George St. Pierre, it was like, it doesn't seem like he's nervous at all. I'm sure you were, but you held it well. I mean, I'm sure you were super nervous, but the fact that you beat George St. Pierre and everybody said you wouldn't, I was a fan from that point on.
Oh, thanks, Marty, man.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's always nerves involved, but I was when you have a mentality of knowing, not like, all right, man, I gotta beat him. Not that, just knowing that it's gonna be a him or me type of fight and being at peace with that. I was strangely calm, believe it or not.
It looked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fake, but I was like, he's good at
yeah. Well, I'm not that good an actor. But the second one was a fake when I lost. No, I'm only kidding. No, I took a beating the second one. Jimmy. But
you're on that one too.
Listen, thank you, Marty.
Well, Your stuff too, and where can people, get a hold of your music, or where do you want people to go the most? Like, if you have to plug a place to see Marty Ray, where would it be?
Well, it's at Marty Ray Project on any social media they're on, like Spotify. If they're on Spotify, it's Marty Ray Project, Apple Music. My website is martyrayproject.com. They can join the mailing list and things like that. We just released a new single called The Storm, about a storm that came through Nashville and it really just tore up many of homes, and people lost a lot of stuff. And one of my friends, my buddy who's in the song with me, who wrote it with me, he lost his entire house and his cars and all of his stuff. And we wrote a song about it, did a video. So that's out if people want to see that. And anywhere, Marty Ray Project, everywhere.
And you cover some great stuff too. You cover Simple Man is one of my favorites. I think it's one of everyone's favorite, but a good cover of Simple Man is one of my favorite things to watch. So you've covered a lot of great stuff.
Did you see mine?
I've seen it, yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, of course.
I don't. Well, Leonard Skinner actually they saw that. The band's actual official website and Facebook page, they saw that and posted it and said the greatest stripped down version of Simple Man we've ever heard.
Really?
Wow, man. I was just shocked because Skinner is one of my favorite Southern rock bands of all time, for sure.
I gotta listen to that, man. I never heard that. I gotta listen to it because I am a simple man.
Yeah, me too. It's true. In its truest sense.
Well, it was good talking to you, Marty. I think our show is done. And come back anytime. We're so happy to have you on, and that you're a fan of the sport as well, which is great. So many guys come on, they're not fans of the sport. So much to talk to someone who's a big MMA fan.
I'm a fan. So yeah, y'all just let me know when you want me to come on. I'll come on and
we'll talk some fights, man. And Marty, where's your podcast? Did you say where your podcast was?
Podcast is everywhere as well. But it's called the Marty Ray Project Chats.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, Marty, man, good to talk to you again, bro.
Yeah. Good to talk to you, Jim and Matt. Honored to be on here. Thank y'all for having me, and I love the show.
Thanks, Marty. Good talking to you too.
All right, Marty.
All right, take care, buddy. Be well.
What a nice guy.
Yeah. He's great too. He's got a great voice.
Yeah, Jimmy. So listen, man. Things will work out. My little Jimmy Bird. What's today? I'm gonna be gone next week. Let's see if I'm gonna be able to get on the show. Okay. I'll be traveling. I gotta make some cheddar in these hard times. I got 3 kids.
Of course, I'm with you.
And thank you, Jimmy. And I'm gonna try to call in when I'm away. Because you guys will miss me.
Yes, we will.
Of course. What else, Jimmy? Anything else to plug?
No, just the Chip Chipperson Patreon for anybody who's a fan. Is all new content and weird characters, and it's the most fun I've had in years. So I'm doing that.
Oh, that's so nice, Jimmy. I'm gonna watch that maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Jimmy. Listen to me. I will talk to you while I'm away, one way or the other.
All right. Good talking to you, buddy, and I'll talk to you soon.
Later, Jim. Goodbye, everybody.
All right. Bye.